Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thank you for joining us again today. The next few days, I would like to just share with you some of the characteristics of God that are most important to me, and the ones that I feel are the foundation for how I relate to God, to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The first one of those is the idea that God is love. We read that in the book of 1 John. God is love. For me, if God isn't pure love, if that isn't the essence of his character, then everything else becomes very muddled and unsure. Everything else changes in how we see him if he isn't pure love, because that would mean that some aspects of God are not pure love. It would mean that some aspects of God flow out of him, not out of a motivation of love, not out of a heart of love, but there is some other motivation behind his activity, his words, his ways, his works. And I just don't believe that's true. I believe the Bible is so clear that God's heart, the heart of him, the essence of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, is love. It is the description of the relationship between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father loves the Son loves the Father, the Spirit loves the Father and the Son, and they love the Spirit. It is a community of love. And so if love is the essence of God, then every other thing that we can say about God has to flow out of love, has to be love. For example, if we're talking about God's discipline, it has to be a loving discipline. If we talk about God's wrath, it has to flow out of a heart of love, not a heart of anger, but out of a heart of love. So that everything that we look at when we observe God, when we try to comprehend him in some way, has to be from the foundation of it is love. His motivation is love. The driving force is love. Everything he does is because he loves. And therefore, love becomes the love of God. There's great songs in the love of God, how rich and pure, how measureless and strong. We don't begin to comprehend it. Paul prayed it in Ephesians. I pray that you would comprehend with all the saints the height and depth and breadth and width of love, that you'd be rooted and grounded in the knowledge of the love of God. It is so essential. It is just absolutely critical if we are going to relate to God and understand him from a Christian biblical perspective. It has to be based on the truth that God is love. And there is no other side to God, if you will. We might look at it and say, yes, God is loving, but he's also... No, there is no but he's also part. He is loving, period. Everything about him is love. If there's another side to God, it's another side of love. It's not, there is love, but there's also... that just isn't possible there. Everything he does is from love. And we have a problem comprehending that because we as humans don't operate out of pure love. We may love somebody, but the reality is if they wrong us or if they betray us or whatever, our love for them changes, and we sometimes may respond out of motivations, out of attitudes that are not based on love. They do not flow from love. But that's because we're human, but that's not how God is. There's nothing you can do that will ever make him respond to you in any way but love. He will love you. I mean, my Hosea, I love the book of Hosea, and I really believe the bottom line is he loves us still, he always will. And, he depicts in that story the most horrendous thing there, that Hosea's wife goes back to prostitution, and he goes and gets her, and she goes back to prostitution, and he goes and gets her, redeems her again. That is a picture of God's love. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing so horrendous we can do that it will exhaust his love for us or change his love for us. we can count on that. And so that's just really good news today. It is the thing that I most pray for revelation about. I pray almost every day, Abba, show me your love. Help me understand your love for me and for others and for your creation, and just help me comprehend your love, because I believe that is what will root us and ground us and give us a solid foundation for life and in our relationship with him, if we really come to comprehend that he is love, period, and there is no other characteristic of God that doesn't rest on that foundation of love. Well, that's good news for us today. Let's think about it. We'll talk again tomorrow.